I am live. Happy Friday, everybody. Happy Friday. You made it to the end of the week, and it is our night. Bingo night. Alphabet bingo night. Welcome. Let me see who's here. I've got a different setup going today. Same room, different setup. Lots of notes. Lots going on. Let me see who's here first. And then we will get started with the game. I need to see who's with me. And Caprice, you made it. I'm so glad. Caprice, I hope you saw the episode I did the other day when I showed the Pearl McGowan rug that was called Kitchen Caprice. Because I said I hope Caprice is watching because it was called Kitchen Caprice. I thought it was really cute. Caprice, good to see you. Kira, good to see you. Happy Friday. I'm so glad you're there. Cheers. I'm drinking out of a super tacky solo cup, but cheers, my dears. I just have a gigantic glass of wine tonight. So that's okay for cocktail night, right? It's been a bit of a stressy one putting it together as usual. But let me say hi to everybody, and then I will tell you about the mistake that I made with these cards. You know I got to be me, and it's inevitable. So it is what it is. Let me take one sip first. You're taking a gander at what's going on back there. So let's see. Martha, happy Friday. Martha says good luck to everybody. Good luck to you too, Martha. And I have to say 84 cards sold. 84 cards sold? 81 cards sold for a total of 243 times $3? Yeah. 243. So total jackpot $243. That's quite a lot. That's the most cards that we've ever sold. I don't know how many people bought, but that's how many cards were sold. So it's a big one tonight. It's a big one in real life too, right? Something crazy billion amount of dollars tonight. Mom, happy Friday and cheers. I wish you were with me. Maybe next time we do bingo, I can come and crash at your place. I love to be together when we do bingo. Catherine, hello from Arizona. Good luck tonight. Good to see you. Anita, good to see you. Happy Friday and good luck to you too. Jennifer, happy Friday. Everybody's so nice. You know, I was so happy that Brenda came up with this great idea of doing this alphabet theme, and I'm so glad that so many people sent me rugs because I got some of your stories going, and we get to look at your rugs again. I haven't been doing the rug review like I used to every week. Just because I've been so busy, and I've missed looking at your rugs and talking about your rugs, and they're all beautiful, and I'm in love with all of them. So thank you to everybody who sent your rugs in. Thank you to everybody who's playing tonight. Karen, good to see you. Happy Friday. Sharon, good to see you too. Happy Friday. Thanks for helping out with the technical stuff with the download yesterday. Christine in Brockport, Mass. 3 inches of snow in an hour. Oh my God, you're in. You're in. You're doing Wheel of Fortune tonight, right? Happy Friday. Linda B, cheers. Good to see you. Sheila, Benton City, Washington. You can't wait for some fun bingo. I do have a great show tonight. I've got some great commentary. Teresa, your first time. Great to see you and welcome, Teresa. So glad you're there. I'm going to explain everything in a minute in case you're playing too. It's great to just listen, but playing adds that layer, that dimension of insanity and fun that's just a little bit more than the usual. Christine M, as your Graham used to say, I'm going to the bingo, right? I called my grandmother Graham too. And I don't know her to have played bingo. I don't know her to have left the house, to be honest. The house in the yard, I don't know her to have ever done that in my life. But I think if she went to bingo, she would also say the bingo. Using an article where an article is not needed. Cynthia, happy cocktail night. Happy Friday. Good to see you. Teresa, happy Friday. 2 Teresas in a row there. Good to know you're not the only one. Pat, oh, Pat, I'm sorry you didn't say happy Friday and good luck. Good to see you. Karen, Christine, Connie, happy Friday. I always love to know you're there. Julie, howdy, happy Friday. And Doreen, I feel like I haven't seen you on for a while. Happy Friday. I hope you're great. Looking forward to a good show together. Crystal, happy Friday. Snowy in snow globe in Nova Scotia. Chance of snow 100% in a snow globe, right? The kid and the husband are chucking snowballs at each other. I hope they come in and say hi later. Elaine, happy Friday in Texas. Good to see you too. Heather, good to see you. Happy Friday. I can't remember if I saw you this morning or yesterday morning, but but I love to see you here and in person. Michelle, happy Friday. Good to see you. I feel like everybody's on tonight. It's fantastic. Jane. Jane, hi from Chile, Wisconsin. Jane, good to see you. Happy Friday. Cheers, my dears. Trisha B, new to this today from Alaska. Trisha, welcome. I'm so glad you're with us. It's going to be a fun episode. Happy Friday. Jennifer, I missed the rug review. I know, Jennifer. I do too. I promise I'm going to get back to it. The problem with those rug review videos is I write to everybody to ask for permission to use their rugs to do a video. And of course, I always say positive things because there's a million positive things to say about every rug in my mind. Whether it's the color, the composition, the subject, doesn't matter. I can think of 100 nice things that are worth looking at. But people are so slow with getting back to me, and I feel like I'm being given a hard time sometime about, well, what are you doing with it? Who are you showing it to? And it just backs me up sometime. But I did enjoy it, and I thought it was a great way of celebrating everybody's rugs, not just the people who are in Celebration and Rug Hooking Magazine, all of our rugs. I like our rugs the best, better than what I see in any magazine. So I will get back to that, I promise. Christine, oh, you like the store tour? I'm so sorry I was muffled with that mask, but even if we took our masks off, I feel like it would have set a bad example in general with 100 days of masking up. And we could have stayed apart from each other, but I just felt like it was a bad example, so I kept the mask on, and it wasn't the greatest quality. But at least it was a few minutes out of the house and into a shop. So hopefully it was colorful and fun. I don't want to miss anybody. Lily, you're there. I miss you, Lily. I miss you. You must be, well, I know you, because I know you work in healthcare. I know you're working overtime, and thank you for that. But I have missed you. I haven't seen you for ages on. And Liz, oh, Liz, you're going to play for the first time. Liz and I were together over at the Hillstead the other day, and it was fantastic. I'm going to make that post yet. I haven't yet, but I'm going to make that post. It's just been a little busy. Amy, hey, 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 happy Friday. Oh, I'm so glad you like your kits. I'm so glad. Thanks for letting me know. Hope I didn't miss anybody. I'm going to keep an eye on our feed here so that I know what's going on. Now listen, let me take one quick sip. Can you say it with me, please? Savannah White on Wheel of Fortune she must be Wheel of Fortune. She can't be Jeopardy, right? So, Wheel of Fortune! And this tonight is our Wheel of Fortune. If you can see what is going on over here. Oh, good, Lily. I'm so glad you got your first shot. I liked Linda B. Tour. It was a vicarious fun. Thank you. I like to know that people in healthcare are getting shots right now. Whatever you think of it, you're probably not going to grow a tail. It's going to be good to get that vaccination, particularly people like Lily who are always, always out working and working in healthcare. Scary. But Wheel of Fortune. So the way that this came about is quite silly. This is just a pre-spin. This is a wheel that I made when Jay and I were working on one of Jocelyn's birthday events years ago, like 4 years ago. And she wanted to have a autumn carnival. So I did it in the backyard, and we built like 20 or 30. I'm sorry, my Pandora just kicked on with Blossom Dearie. Let me shut her off as much as I love her. We built a bunch of carnival stuff in the backyard for the kids out of wood, and I painted everything. It was super artistic, high-class fun, and like the entire neighborhood showed up. And at the prize booth, I had this wheel that's an old bicycle, and he rigged it so that it spins like the Wheel of Fortune, like a roulette wheel or whatever, right? Like, I think roulette wheels stop. You love the wheel. So what I did was, out of the 52 calls we have, because we have the alphabet twice, uppercase and lowercase, I have a printout of each of the rugs, uppercase and lowercase, and I taped it to the spokes. So when I turn it, the closest one up that sort of radius, you know, that particular spoke, I'm going to go for the first one that's there and call that. And you know, when we play bingo, and for those of you who are new to this, we play Blackout Bingo, which means your whole card needs to be checked off. Make sure that everything is printed out, everything's in front of you. I don't go fast. I make a call, and then I say something that I hope is interesting about that rug. Something to do with the rug, if I know who made it, if it's someone who sent it to me, some of the things I found online. So I'm going to talk a little bit about it, and then that gives you a little time to, with one ear, listen, and with one hand, be crossing it off on your card. Be very careful tonight, because we have uppercase and lowercase. So I will tell you which picture it is, just so you don't accidentally do the wrong case. And blackout means the whole card is crossed off. Now in your center spot, you all on all of your cards, in your center spot, have a beautiful round rug of autumn leaves with a turquoise background if you printed it in color. That is your free space. So you can go ahead, test your pen, cross that center space off now. You've got that one. You're already doing great. Cross off your free space. The free space was sent to me yesterday or the day before. I had already finished up the cards. It was sent to me by Linda Schultes Hoffman. And she said, for your consideration for bingo. And when she sent it, that moment, I had said to myself, I forgot to think about what to put for the free space. And I thought, Linda, I'm going to use your rug for the free space. So Linda's rug, that beautiful fall round leaf rug in the center, is the free space. You can cross that off now. You got it. Christine, you got your second shot Monday. Fantastic. You work in a dentist office with patients and financing. It's a lot. Very, very glad to know that you've got it. I'm very glad to know that you've got it. That is really good. You know, one of the funny things, since you said dentist, when I was at the dentist not that long ago and back again this week with both kids on the same appointment, it occurred to me that at the dentist's office, that's one of the only places where things haven't changed that much. Because if you think about it, when you go into the dentist, they always have a mask on anyway. So now I go in and I still see Dr. Scott, and you know his face is still covered with a mask just like it always was. So it hasn't changed that much at the dentist's office, except obviously for the level of risk and worry for people who work there. But in terms of the patient's experience, it's a lot like it's always been. I can see, you know, into his eyes, occasionally up his nose, but I can't really see his face because he's always got that mask on. So kind of funny. So I'm hoping I'm being real clear with how this is going to work. I'm going to make very clear calls. And I have to say, I did make a mistake. Who told me about my mistake? Somebody super nice in the group who's playing for the first time. Let's see. She wrote, Lindsay Nielsen wrote, and thank you, Lindsay, and said, is there supposed to be two of the same picture on card number 6? And there's not. So on if you have card number 6, there are two Great Danes. It's supposed to be one uppercase G, one lowercase g. So when we get to G, just know if you've got card number 6 that one of them is an uppercase, one of them is a lowercase. I will tell you which is which when we get there. I am super sorry about that. I am super sorry about that. I'm going to make sure that we call both G's so that card is not problematic. That was I mean, would it be me and would it be bingo night if I didn't make a complete stupid mistake on these cards? I look at them for too long and I just, it's all, you know, blurred and double vision at a certain point. And then I look at it the next day and I think there's nothing wrong. It looks great. And it never is, right? It never is. I'm going to have to send it out to some of you in advance to proof it for me because I'm just not catching my mistakes. I'm terribly sorry about that. But the G's are one uppercase, one lowercase. So when we get to card G, why don't we do this now just as a preventative? If you have card 6, put that right in front of you now. And why don't we say, I'm going to look for some feedback. Oh, there's 2 B's, not 2 G's. Oh, is that right? Okay, so there's 2 B's, not, I thought there was 2 Great Danes. Okay, I'm sure that you're right. Oh, I'm sorry, Christine, you were sick after the first shot. Okay. It can happen, but you probably won't grow a tail, and you're going to be good after this. I am worried. I can't believe how, oh, thank you, Teresa. I work really hard on this, and I'm trying to get orders out, too. In fact, I was putting together the kits for the dyeing class that's coming up, and I accidentally spilled Synthropol all over my pants. So for those of you that were wondering and doubting whether Synthropol actually removed color, worked as a color removing agent, it definitely does. So, Kira, yes, yes to G. There are 2 G's. So does that mean there are also 2 B's? 2 Great Danes on card number 6, and 2 Birdsongs on card number 5. Okay, so I'm super sorry. It's not you, it's me. I'm super sorry. So let's look at both of those now. Let's start with card number 5. If you have card number 5, pull that out. You're going to have 2 Birdsongs. If you don't have card number 5, do not worry about it. On card number 5, whichever of the B's is is highest on the top, whichever is closest to the top of your page, please make that a capital B for Birdsong. Leave that as is. And put the B that is lower down, as if you were reading top to bottom, left to right. Put the B that is lower down, make that lowercase b, and please write the word berries. B for berries. Okay? And then let's move to card number 6 for the other correction. Card number 6 with the 2 Great Danes. If you have any questions, let me know. We are in no rush because it's Friday night. We are in no rush. So if you have card number 6, same thing. As if you're reading it, top to bottom, left to right, the G, the Great Dane G that comes first, make that capital G. Make the one that comes second, lowercase g. And please add the word geometric for lowercase g. Uppercase G, Great Dane, lowercase g, geometric. Uppercase B remains Birdsong, lowercase b, berries. And hopefully that's it. 2 mistakes is a lot. There's not that many cards. If you want. All right. Are we ready? Wheel of, you better be saying it with me, fortune. You better not be too cool to say it with me. Let's go for our first spin. I'm going to spin the wheel. We're going to see where we end up. I don't know if you can see. Jay nailed this on for me on this bicycle wheel, this beautiful old cheese box or something. So every call I have, I can put in here if we have any issues later. So here we go. Good luck, everybody. I hope that you all win. It's not possible, but I hope that you do. You're all winners at least. Let's do our first spin. And that is going to be, let me cut it off, this one here. First call, capital S, Sunbonnet Sue, capital S for Sunbonnet Sue. Okay, so you find that, oh, thank you. This one right here. Thanks, Michelle. Keep them in order, though. S, Sunbonnet Sue, by Linda B. Linda B., you sent this rug, and it is absolutely beautiful. Your work, absolutely beautiful. I just love it. Such an iconic character. Known by many names, including Dutch Doll, Bonnie Bonnet, Sunbonnet Baby. All of these are Sunbonnet Sue. And undoubtedly others, Sunbonnet Sue is a textile image that has been popular for centuries, right? It's not just a 1920s, 1930s Depression era thing. It's been popular for centuries. So widely portrayed in quilts, she is most often depicted working, playing, and sometimes getting into trouble. So she's a mischievous type character. Bertha Corbelt and Eulalie Osgood Glover, who is the author of a book called Overall Boys, like Suspender Boys, and many other books circa 1915. So this is the era we're talking about. Those two people teamed up to do a series of Sunbonnet Sue books at the very beginning of the 20th century to teach children how to read through illustrated anecdotes. And Sunbonnet Sue was the main character. She was backed up by Fisherman Fred and Suspender Sam. It sounds very Mark Twain, doesn't it? But I wonder if you remember reading any of those books. Certainly we've all seen Sunbonnet Sue quilts, but I have not seen a Sunbonnet Sue rug before. That is absolutely beautiful, Linda. I love it. Gorgeous. Call number 1, capital S. Call number 2. All right. Call number 2, let me put this in here like I said I was going to, is capital A, animals. Oh, let me get you in focus here. It's not really in focus. Why is it doing? There we go. Capital A, animals. So see if you've got animals, capital A. Now this one is by Michelle Ross Miller. She's on with us tonight. Absolutely beautiful, Michelle. And speaking of rug hooking review, this is, if you don't have it on your card, let me hold it up again. It is such a nice image, if I can get it in focus. It's a beautiful, I did this in rug hooking review, and that's how I sort of got to know Michelle the first time. I don't know why it's not in focus. That's really bad. This is a nice camera. There we go. So I remember, Michelle, you said it was a bit of a family piece. This reminded you of vacations, and there's the characters, and I feel like it had meaning. Like I put that into one of the early rug hooking reviews. It had meaning, and you had altered it in some ways, and it just came out beautiful. The two turtles down by the bank, the characters who are in the kayak or the canoe paddling, beautiful, happy, the heron right next to what looks like cattails, a duck in the distance. It's just a beautiful, happy piece. Beautifully adapted. It's just gorgeous. It's just gorgeous. I loved it when I saw it, and that's why I used it in the rug hooking review. So that was capital A, call number 2. What's call number 3 going to be? Let's see. Ooh, call number 3, lowercase u, umbrellas. Lowercase u. Isn't that gorgeous? Doesn't that remind you of like the cover of a super 1920s Agatha Christie paperback, like Evil Under the Sun, right? So that was lowercase u. Now, this is a bit of a different one. I got this image from a website. You know how sometimes we go to other websites like Mackenzie Childs, Claire Murray, and other websites that do machine-made, I mean, Claire Murray, not really in the same class. She does beautiful rugs, and the kits are back out. But there are, and I'm sure you're aware of, a lot of machine-made rugs, particularly with yarn, that are available for sale in lots of stores. They come in priced a bit less than, obviously, a hooked rug that you were to commission from someone, but there are a lot of companies that are doing really high-quality, beautiful, machine-made hooked rugs, and this is one of them. I don't always go to these sites, but I really liked this rug, and I wanted to just remind you, if you don't have an unlimited budget and you're just getting into it, or you admire hooked rugs but you don't do it yourself, check out this site called Nautical Decor and Gifts. Oh, Lily, that's okay. If you win, you know I'll call you. You know I'll call you. So you know I'll let you know if your card won. So don't worry about it. Good luck tonight. Nautical Decor and Gifts. This rug costs $95. It's a beautiful rug, very sort of summer theme to it. You know, gorgeous. It's a nice placeholder, or if you just love it, you just love it. But don't discount these rugs because they're machine made. We can't always be snobs about everything. These are beautiful rugs, and this design I thought was amazingly deco. I really admired it. Thanks, Kira. I hope I picked some good ones. I tried to pick things that were different, you know. So next call, oh, speaking of Kira, and I see it's even a K. I didn't even realize that. Next call, uppercase K. Now this is a weird one. You're like, why is it a K? Does she not know how to spell cat? This is one of my designs, and it's called Keep Calm and Carry Yarn. Not carry on, but carry yarn. And this is Kira's. Kira did this. This is beautiful. You did all your own color stuff. You did a super textured basket that was just gorgeous. It's a cat in a basket surrounded by balls of yarn that are coming out. Keep calm and carry on. Do you have uppercase K? Uppercase K. That's what I wrote. I wrote Kira did it. It's one of Ribbon Candy Hooking's designs. I super loved it. I don't know if I used it in a rug hooking review. I really got to do another one. But Kira, I remember walking through this with you and you saying, there's stuff wrong, give me some ideas with colors. And we made like one tiny change of like the smallest ball because it was perfect the way that it was. I loved the way that you hooked it. It's absolutely beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. That's uppercase K for the cat in the basket. Keep calm and carry yarn. This is going to be a good call for Canadian buddies. Now, this is going to be a keep you in suspense call. Lowercase m. M as in Maude Lewis. Lowercase m as in Maude Lewis. Now, Canadian friends, this coming week, I ordered a few Maude Lewis books. I'm going to talk about her for just a minute. Some of these calls are going to be longer than others because some of the commentary is so good. I just cannot be rushed on a Friday night. I've got to do a little bit. We have an episode for Canadians, for everybody, coming up on Maude Lewis. So just know that this is just a placeholder for things to come. I ordered some books that I found online. I've received some of them. I'm super excited to cover Maude Lewis properly in coffee time. But for now, lowercase m is Maude Lewis, and this piece is also by Linda B., another beautiful piece, Linda, and it's called Sugaring. Sugaring, so charming, right? So I'll just tell you a little bit about Maude Lewis if you have not heard of her. She's not a super famous name for Americans, but just like Emily Carr, she's iconic for Canadians. So Maude Lewis, she was born, her maiden name is Dowley. She was born March 7th, 1903, and she died on July 30th, 1970. She was a Canadian folk artist from Nova Scotia. She lived most of her life in poverty in a small house in Marshalltown, Nova Scotia, achieving national recognition in 1964 and 1965. Several books, plays, and films have since been produced about her life. I'm getting this from Wikipedia. Lewis remains one of Canada's best known and loved folk artists. I'm doing some paraphrasing. I added loved because I know she's loved. Her works in the restored Maude Lewis House are displayed in the Art Gallery of Nova Scotia. She had one brother named Charles. She was born with birth defects, and she ultimately developed rheumatoid arthritis, which reduced her mobility, as you can imagine, and it was quite bad in her hands. She was introduced to art by her mother, who instructed her in the making of watercolor Christmas cards to sell. How sweet a touch is that? She began her artistic career by selling hand-drawn and painted Christmas cards. Isn't it beautiful, Liz? Her piece is so beautiful. Linda, it's gorgeous. And it gives me the opportunity to talk about Maude Lewis a little bit. So she ended up getting married. She married Everett Lewis, who was a fish peddler, also from Marshalltown, on January 6, 1938, at the age of 34. Everett Lewis also worked as a watchman at the County Poor Farm. The Poor Farm. You just don't hear things like this anymore. According to Everett, Maude showed up at his doorstep in response to an advertisement he had posted in the local stores for a live-in or keep house, that was the title, for a 40-year-old bachelor. And several weeks later, they were married. The two lived in Everett's one-room house with a sleeping loft in Marshalltown, a few miles west of Digby. Maude used this house as her studio, and Everett took care of the housework. The pair lived mostly in poverty in this one-room house, which is now quite famous if you look her up. Maude Lewis accompanied her husband on his daily rounds, peddling fish door to door, bringing around Christmas cards that she had drawn. Don't you wish you were one of the people whose house she showed up at with her hand-drawn Christmas cards? She would sell the cards for 25 cents each. These cards proved popular with her husband's customers, and she began painting. Everett encouraged Lewis to paint, and he bought her first set of oils. She expanded her range using other surfaces for painting, such as pulp boards, also called beaver boards, cookie sheets, that's so folky and toll, right, and masonite. Lewis was a prolific artist, and she also painted on more or less every available surface in her tiny home, including the walls, the doors, the bread boxes, and even the stove. She completely covered the simple patterned commercial wallpaper with sinewy stems, leaves, and blossoms. So she was such a creative person by instinct. It was in her. There's so much more to say about her, so we're going to do it in an episode of Coffee Time this coming week. But she is such a character. She is to Canadian folk art, in my mind, what Grandma Moses is to American folk art. She's a super important player. And the reason I bring her up is because her drawings are available, many of them as raw cooking patterns like sugaring. So that's the reason I bring it up. There's a huge crossover. People have been hooking her designs for years. Okay, Anita's saying Maude was a very good movie. I have yet to see that.
Did you talk about the 2 C's on card number 9?
Yes.
Okay.
Did I talk about the 2 C's on card number 9?
There was the B's and the G's.
Are there 2 C's on card number 9?
That's what a couple people said.
I'm sorry, I was reading. Whew, great. Okay, give me the C's. I am so sorry, y'all. I am really a ding-dong. I could have said something else that began with a... I'm a ding-dong. So, take a pause. If you have card number 9, I am so sorry. I am so sorry. Please volunteer to proof me next time. I am so bad. If you have card number 9, again, top to bottom, left to right, the one that comes up first, reading top to bottom, left to right, make the first one a capital C, which is cat, and make the second one, please, a lowercase c, which is cardinal. I am so sorry. Whew! I can think of a lot of names for myself. That's unbelievable. 3. So you can't say that that's okay. Now you can't say that's a, 3 is, it's a lot. So let's see. One more drink. Okay, good. Thanks, Mom. All right, let's see who's next. Now, you know, when I was just talking about Maude Lewis and talking about how she painted this little one-room place that she shared with Everett, her husband, it reminded me of a past coffee time we did. Do you remember the week that we did fine artists in the early 20th century, late 19th, early 20th century, who also hooked rugs? And one of the characters who came up was lowercase z, lowercase c, Zorak, Marguerite Zorak. Remember this episode? It was actually, I spread it over 2 or 3 episodes. Thanks, Teresa. So this is Zorak, lowercase z. This was one of my favorite episodes because I love her so much. And if you remember from that episode, she also, with her daughter, who also became a very famous artist, painted their Maine house up in Maine with beautiful, again, sinewy leaves, flowers running through it. And I showed a photo of that, and people were commenting like crazy. Thank you, Caprice. I would appreciate it. I need a second set of eyes. I've only got 4 right here, right? These 2 and these 2, and they don't work. They don't work. Zorak, lowercase b. This is a piece called Belted Pig by Marguerite Zorak. Look back on that episode of Coffee Time if you haven't seen it. I think it's one of the best episodes. If you remember from this episode, if you see her, if you have the piece on your card or you can see mine, everything about this, I mean, she was a proper painter, and so her husband was a famous sculptor. She was a proper painter, but everything about this was taken from stuff around the house in true folk style. There are some purple flowers in it, and I remember in that episode saying one of the cute anecdotes about it was that they were her daughter-in-law's sweater that had gotten some moth holes, purple sweater that she had just taken apart and used for hooking instead. So she used a lot of different fiber, not just wool strips. She used leftovers and scraps in the true folk tradition. But that is lowercase c, z as in Z, Marguerite Zorak. And next call. Ooh, that's a close one. Let's do this. Next call, lowercase, this was a hard one, X, lowercase x. Of course, there's not a lot of things that begin with X, so I had a bit of a struggle. Lowercase x, and I think I wrote little x's on it. Lowercase x. So without having a lot of things to have for X, I was trying to think of designs that had an actual, letter X in it to kind of cheat that way. So this is called Little X's on Your Card, lowercase x, and this rug is by the Tweed Weasel. So the website is called the Tweed Weasel. This bow tie geometric design is always stunning as a hooked rug. I'm reading this from the website, the Tweed Weasel. It can work as a hard-working floor piece or featured as an artful wall hanging. The rug design is by Tish Bacheletta and is filled with contrasting warm colors separated by thin, dark trim throughout. And this is a custom piece. It says if you prefer a different size, let us know. You can get this as a ready-made piece on the Tweed Weasel, lowercase x. Christine, I'm going to keep that a secret for you. I hope you can all read that. I'm going to keep that a secret. I think you should. I think you must. Okay, let's see who's next here. Oh, okay, good. We were just talking about this. Next call, lowercase c, cardinal. Lowercase c, cardinal. So that was one of the problematic ones. So the second one on your card that's a C is lowercase c, cardinal. This was a hard, I cropped this rug. This is by Karen Jones. This is so beautiful. I also use this in the rug cooking review. That's what brought me to you, I think. You had 2 beautiful rugs that I used in that episode, and I love them both so much. I cropped this a little so that I could have the right format for the bingo card, but it is even more glorious as a full-size rug. This is the Cushing pattern called Winter Greeting. So Cushing Company has this pattern. It's called Winter Greeting. Okay, so Jennifer's saying card number 10 has a lowercase x, but uppercase x photo. So just ignore uppercase or lowercase, and for that card, just the first one that appears, top to bottom, left to right, make that uppercase, and make the second one lowercase, just as a rule. There's a little x and little x is exactly in. So just cross out the one that it is. So for this one, this is the lowercase one. So cross out the second C on the card with a double, the second C, because that'll be the lowercase one, right? So that's Cardinal. This is Karen Jones' design. It's a beautiful wagon wheel in the snow. And there's not just, there's two cardinals there. There's a beautiful bluebird too, not a blue jay, but a bluebird. Winter Greeting, a design that's available from Cushing. Lowercase X on card number 5 is a different rug. Oh no, Linda, really? Lowercase, I don't have the rugs in front of me and I don't dare change the screen. If you have card number 5 and it says lowercase x, cross it off. It's a lowercase x. I am sorry, I'm such a super boob, but if it says lowercase x on card number 5, cross it off. This is me boobing it up on a Friday night. I've been working on this for like 3 days, so I can't blame it on wine or on Friday night. If it said, card number 5, if your thing says lowercase x, cross it off. I do a lot of cutting and pasting and saving, and a lot of room for error. I hope that makes sense. Tell me if you're struggling. We'll figure it out at the end. All right, next call. Man, I made a lot of mistakes, huh? Oh my God. Okay, next call. Losing my stride here. Next call, lowercase s. Lowercase s. Okay, Sharon says, oh, that's what you meant for card number 10. Okay, so Jennifer and Sharon, if it says
What is that?
something that I call, let's not say because then it's confusing. If I make the call and it's a different rug, it's because I screwed up the cutting and pasting, but the call is right. So if you hear the call, scratch it off. I am so sorry. I am so sorry. But if you hear the call, don't go with the picture because of my cutting and pasting.
Go with the letter.
Go with the letter. So far so good? 6 and number 8. Okay. So this call is lowercase s, and this is sunflowers. Sunflowers, lowercase s. Oh, I need the second page for this. Sunflowers by Julie. Julie's on with us tonight. Julie Astry, your own design. What a gem, Julie. I love the sunflowers. It made me think, what about sunflowers? We all know about sunflowers. They're such an important motif in folk art and in rug hooking. I love yours the most, Julie. But let's say, thank you, let's say a few facts about sunflowers that I happened to look up on www.proflowers.com. That's the website. These are some interesting facts about sunflowers. Each sunflower is actually thousands of teeny flowers, right? Not seeds, but flowers. Each sunflower can contain as many as 1,000 to 2,000 seeds. Sunflowers are native to North America. There are 70 species of sunflowers. I didn't know that you use the word species with flowers. I thought you only did that with animals. But there are 70 species. The tallest sunflower on record was over 30 feet tall. Sunflowers track the sun. Not all sunflowers are yellow, right? Did you know that? They can also be what's called red, which is actually a really deep orange, and also purple. Another interesting thing about sunflowers is Van Gogh obviously is very well known for his sunflowers, painting sunflowers often, among other things. He was not the only artist who was famous for sunflowers. Also, Diego Rivera painted sunflowers, and Paul Gauguin painted sunflowers. So there are many Impressionist era sunflower painters, very important subject at that time. And I found this story that I thought was pretty interesting too. Sunflowers have numerous, you know how we love meaning and symbols in rug hooking, just like quilters and cross-stitchers do. Sunflowers have numerous meanings and symbols, and some date back to Greek mythology with a story of Clytie and Apollo, the god of sun, the sun god. Apollo, already in love with Clytie, one day was struck by the beauty of a king's princess named Leocotho. Leocotho's father did not allow her to see Apollo, but this didn't stop Apollo from seeing her. Of course, he's like the sun, right? One night, Clytie discovered Apollo and Leocote together and told Leocote's father out of jealousy. As a result, Leocote was buried alive at her father's order. Very sweet, right? Apollo, out of grief, turned Clytie into a sunflower to avoid having to ever look at her again. Talk about drama, right? You can't get better than the Greeks if you're talking about drama. Just repeating, okay. I am so sorry this is so confusing. I feel like I completely ruined this episode by making so many stupid mistakes on the card. Hopefully we can just push forward and it all makes sense. We'll check at the end. But again, go with the letter, not with the picture. Cutting and pasting is just tricky with these cards. Go with the letter, with the calls. And I've got all the calls, I think, in here, right? So we can always check. Let's see. I think this is this one. So next call, how about no confusion? This should be good. Lowercase k. Lowercase k for kites. Trying to get it in focus, but it ain't doing it. Lowercase k, there we go. Lowercase k sort of for kites. Kites. Now this piece is by Sharon Smith, and I know I've talked about her quite a bit on Coffee Time and in other. Oh, thanks, Kira. Still fun. Let me see if I can pull her in focus. There we go. Maybe that's a little better. Kites by Sharon Smith. Her patterns are also available on Cushing. She does this beautiful sort of impressionist style, very loose, faceless, kind of anonymous people. This one, the kites are kind of pulling the characters along. Really different color palette. But I love the shapes of her people. They do have a real impressionist sweep to them. I think she's I think one of my favorites, if not my very favorite. I have a lot of her pieces to hook when things get quiet, hopefully far off in the future, because I like things busy right now. But this is Kites by Sharon Smith. And again, all of Sharon Smith's stuff is available on the Cushing website. So look there for it if you like kites. All of her stuff has that look, and they're all so different. Okay, next call. Next call is lowercase v, vase. Lowercase v for vase. Looks like this. Nice little folk piece. Let's see, lowercase v. Homemade hooked rug of flowers in a vase. I pulled this one offline. This is a pattern by Prairie Road Designs. It's on a linen foundation, 31 by 40, number 8 cut. If you have it, you can see close up. It's a primitive at a number 8 cut. What I really liked about this piece was the symmetry, obviously. It has that kind of fracture look because it's perfectly symmetrical. But do you often see super folky fracture, that was a dangerous one to say, super folky fracture looking rugs in this color scheme? Real pale yellows, ivories, like spilled milk, right? A couple of blue flowers to pop the yellow, complementary opposite colors. But I thought the colors were so different. And there is some shading on the vase, which is really different for a folky piece. I thought it was so different. Oh, Lisa, are you working on, I know houseplants. Lisa Briggs says she's working on the Sharon Smith pattern called Houseplants. I know that pattern. I love that pattern. They're so good. Make sure you check out, if you don't know Sharon Smith, make sure you check her out. Her patterns are just so different, you know. All right, next call. Capital L. Capital L. Capital L for Lulu Circles by Carol Pello. Carol's on tonight, I think. Lulu Circles. Carol, this is, everything I see of yours is gorgeous. This is gorgeous. I cropped this as well. This is not the complete rug. I cropped it so it fit the format for tonight. But Carol, I absolutely love this rug. It's hard to do circles, and I can see you did a lot of directional hooking around the circles that gave it that old-timey Edith O'Neill, fill the background with directional, really wide hooking. Beautiful, but the colors are quite modern, which makes it so different. The blues, the oranges, which are always going to sing together. The stripy background versus the solid background, it's so different. It's so different. Carol, this is a gorgeous, gorgeous rug. Lulu Circles. I absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. Thank you so much for sending that. I love the colors. I wish I could have fit the whole rug on there. That's awesome. Oh, Sharon, I can't take anymore. So card number
it could be an
3. Oh, it might be an I. Could it be, Sharon, a lowercase L with a dot after it? Sorry, a lowercase I with a dot after it for, I'm not making the call, so I'm not going to say the word because I don't want to be confusing. But let's see if it comes up. L with card number 4 and 3. Okay. So, okay. Okay, so we are talking about L. So that was a capital L though, wasn't it? Oh no, that was a lowercase L. Lulu Circles is a lowercase L. You have an L with an Indian. Is it a lowercase L? Are you sure it's not an I? What card number is that? Yeah, see, the alphabet is a bit tricky for uppercase, lowercase. With the lowercase ones, I pretty routinely put a period after them so that it was clear that it was a lowercase letter. No, it's an L. Okay, so we're going to stick with the same rule and go with the letter. Go with the letter, not with the picture. The picture is where I seem to be nodding off. Yeah. What was the last call? You got distracted. Was it? No, the last call was lowercase L. Lowercase L. Lulu Circles, lowercase L. Okay. Let's see how it goes. Keep the questions coming. Oh, you have Lulu as a capital L?
Just go with the letters.
You are right. I have Lulu as a capital L too. I am so sorry, everybody. I am a disaster tonight. Lulu Circles is a capital L. I'm going to show it to you here. Lulu Circles, capital L, and Loon is lowercase L. I am so sorry. See if you can fix it on your card. I am so sorry. Capital L, Lulu Circles. Capital L, Lulu Circles. You're right. I am super sorry. Yep. Linda, you're right. Yep. Teresa. Sharon. Everybody knows. I'm just going to defer to you all. Exactly, Connie. Thank you. Okay. So I probably screwed it up from rug to rug. But look for this. This is supposed to be an uppercase L, Lulu Circles. Man, I need some serious proofing, huh? I need some serious proofing.
Just have me do it with you.
Yeah. All right. Now, this is one of the ones that this is the first one that was a problem, so we already know, and hopefully we did it. Capital G for Great Dane. So if you have that card number 6 that I use the G twice, the one that you find toppermost is the Great Dane. Capital G for Great Dane. So let's see. Capital G. This rug was by Julie. Another rug by Julie. Thank you so much for sending such pretty rugs. A Great Dane, and I loved the story. I cropped it and I stretched it a little bit to see it better. It is such a sweet rug. She wrote, I got permission to copy this pattern from the artist to give to a friend who lost her Great Dane. So that's a super sad twist, but what a great gift that you gave in the end. That is capital G, Great Dane. We'll see. Pink Stitcher, we'll see. We'll see if it comes up. It's a beautiful rug, right, Karen? All right, let's see. Next call, uppercase Z, as in zebra, and it is zebra. The call is uppercase Z, zebra. Yep. So not much to say on this one either. I pulled this off of it was really remarkably hard finding a zebra in hook drug. You'd think there'd be tons. I also searched Safari, hook drugs, and I didn't find a ton. I chose this rug, if you have it. It has a zebra pattern in the middle, almost like a skin, and a beautiful border of monkeys. I got this from a website called rugandkill'em.com, and this is one of these websites that you can choose the colors. So this is made for you, commercial rug made for you, and the price is not given. So normally when the price is not given, it's probably not going to be super good news, but it is a beautiful rug. And if you are looking for a capital Z zebra rug in your life, that might be the one for you on Rug and Kill'em's website. They had a nice selection, actually. All right. Ooh, that was tricky. Let's go for this guy. Okay, next call, capital R. Capital R. So that must be Robin. Capital R. R. Robin. This was hooked by Marie-Andre Vizzini of Montreal, Quebec. And I got this picture off of a blog site called GoHookItBlogspot.com. And it's a beautiful red-breasted robin, but in a very sort of folky type design. You can see the border she's put on with the oak leaves, really different, really different. It's super folky. She wrote that this pattern made her think that warmer weather really is coming soon, warmer times ahead. So this is a beautiful rug by Marie Andrea Vizzini of Montreal, and this was capital R for Robin. Okay. All right, next one. This was tricky, huh? It's me. All right, let's see. This is the one that almost came up last time. So this is lowercase a. Lowercase a. It's this little rug with a little cat. Lowercase a. And this is for antique rug, antique hooked rug. You know, I chose this one. There's so many antique hooked rugs out there. If you Google it, you know that. I chose this one because we see so few patterns that we can't identify at this point. There's so much scholarship and knowledge that goes into Promagon being the best and the most at identifying early patterns. But we have identified so many early patterns at this point. There are so many that are left as a huge question mark. Are they commercial patterns or that we haven't identified yet, or are they individual patterns? I felt like with this rug of the little cat in the middle and the little bird sitting on the vine above, that this was certainly a one-off rug and therefore super valuable. It appeared on one of the auction sites, but I couldn't tell which one because I think I found it on Pinterest, which is the worst for tracking down information. But this is lowercase a. Oh, yeah, let me show you that one again. So not everybody's playing. Let me show this one. Lowercase a. This is antique rug. Let me try to get them in focus here. It's weird that it's not focusing better.
They're too small.
Yeah, they're quite small.
It's focused on everything else.
Yeah, it's focused on the wheel and everything in me. It's got a little bird up here and a little black cat sitting in the middle, probably family pet. Really cute old rug. I like it too, Crystal. All right, let's see. What's next? All right. Let's go for this one. This call is capital W Wonderland. This was a great rug. I was so happy to get this one by Jennifer McWayne Buchanan. Jennifer, thank you so much for sending this. Beautiful story with this rug. I absolutely love it. So capital W Wonderland by Jennifer Buchanan. She says, this is her alphabet rug for bingo. W is for Wonderland. And the story behind this is, I hope it's okay if I'm reading this because it's a beautiful story. Wonderland is a location accessed by an oceanside trail located within Acadia National Park. So that's in Maine. This is part of the park that is located on the quiet side of Mount Desert Island. This is a rug that I punched for my husband's youngest daughter for her recent wedding. The inspiration came from a photograph that I took of the location of where Scott proposed to Elizabeth on the heart-shaped rock in the foreground of my rug. They then stood on the rug during the wedding ceremony. I love it when this happens. This is the nicest kind of rug. During the wedding ceremony as they took their vows together. Let me show you that again, and then I want to read you the rest of what she wrote. Maybe this one will come out a bit better.
Get right up on that and back up.
And then I hope it's okay that I read that she wrote, after I punched chair pads and a handbag, this was my first punched rug. I wanted to get back to hooking, but I knew I would be pushing my time to finish, because of course it was for the wedding. As it was, it took me 10 months from start to finish, much like letters, as they have to go backwards when punching. Of course, you're doing punching in reverse. It is a bit tricky. This also applies to known landscapes, as my wedding couple would know. I ran into my first snag after getting it on the frame and realizing that I had traced the picture backwards on the monk's cloth. That is a classic, so don't beat yourself up about that, Jennifer. That is such a classic. My second ongoing dilemma was having certain colors that matched the loveliness and the magic of the location known as Wonderland. If you haven't been to Acadia National Park, I hope you can get there someday. It is a beautiful park. I don't think I've been to this park yet. I don't think I've seen this rock. What a gorgeous rug, Jennifer. What a great gift. My God. All right, so let's go for, this is right in the middle. Let's come up here and do lowercase q for quilt patterns. Lowercase q. So this for you quilters, and I know you're there, Liz. This is like a wedding ring, right? Speaking of wedding rugs, this is a wedding ring. Lowercase q. So what did I write? Quilt pattern. This rug was hooked by a Montreal hooker named Maureen. That was it, just Maureen. It was one of a challenge we had done of the traditional quilting pattern where you find a useful object in the kitchen and make a pattern with it. In this case, a large bowl. This is something we've talked about too. Remember the postcard quilts from Pearl McGowan, where you took the postcard and then you did it diagonally and repeated it? This is what this hooker, Maureen, did with a bowl. Just shifted the bowl and kept repeating it that way and made the wedding quilt pattern from scratch that way. So every rug was completely different, and I think Maureen's was the most contemporary version of this rug. It's here in this photo. She said she had a joyful time dipping the wool, hand-dyed wool. Beautiful border. I cropped this one too. But I found this example. It was on its way at the time to the Shelbourne Museum. I found this great example of a quilt rug on a blog spot called GoHookItblogspot.com. Okay. Beautiful, isn't it? So I pulled this one offline, but I was very happy. I go to that website quite a bit from time to time. I was very happy to find that one. I was looking for an example of a rug that included a quilting pattern, and I thought that one was just stunning. Jennifer, that was, I mean, the story behind that heart-shaped rock, the idea of a wedding rug that you stand down when you take your vows, to me is like the ultimate, the height of romance. I mean, it is just so nice. And somebody having made it for you in the family is the most special thing in the world. All right, I'm almost scared to look at the thread because I'm afraid there's more mistakes. Next call, lowercase f. Now you're going to say why, but it's figure skaters. I did. Lowercase f, figure skaters. So this is a tricky one. Wait till you hear this story. This is a tricky one. So I know what you're thinking. So that was lowercase f, figure skaters. You're probably thinking Hutchinson. I was thinking Hutchinson too. So what it says on this rug, the text says, "The ice is thin. It signifies how soon youth fades and pleasures die." Such classic Hutchinson text, right? We're going to come back, hopefully, to the Hutchinsons later. We've done a lot with the Hutchinsons on Coffee Time. The thing about this rug that's so curious to me is anybody who's right there, better at identifying Hutchinson rugs than I am off the top of your head, can you confirm that this is a Hutchinson rug? Because I could not find it in any of their catalogs or the hugely academic book on the Hutchinsons that I have. But I found this image at Brunk, B-R-U-N-G, auctions, and it's just called Ice Skating Hooked Rug. The estimate was between $1,000 and $2,000, and the price that was realized in January of 2019 was $8,400, $8,400. So it went for multiple times the estimate, and I think the reason has got to be that people who were looking out, who were more in the know than the actual auction house, recognized it as a Hutchinson rug. The reading at the auction page read, "American early 20th century skating couple surrounded by children and a dog playing on the ice. Holly leaves in the upper corners, bottom of the rug reads," I read it to you already, "it's cotton with cotton binding, I'm not sure that it's all cotton, but we'll just go with that, stitched on heavy cloth." Okay, so they don't know what the backing is either. This isn't a huge amount of research that went into identifying this rug, obviously. They must have been so surprised when it sold for what it sold for, because for them, this is just a very basic rug. This is the interesting and curious thing about this. It was exhibited at an exhibit at the Fenimore Museum, which I believe is in New York State, called "The Art of Figure Skating Through the Ages." Yes, in Cooperstown, New York, also where the Baseball Hall of Fame is. Beautiful town. From April 1st to December 31st, 2017. And it was in the collection of somebody called Dick Button, that's a cute name, right, in New York, and he had a collection of skating memorabilia. And for that reason, he had this rug. But it was very clear from this auction listing that nobody knew what this rug was. And I would pretty much bet all four limbs that it's a Hutchinson rug, and that's why it went for so much money. I thought that was so interesting. Gives you hope. Look at those auction sites. Google auction rugs. You can pull up on like Auction Ninja. Any of these sites will show you the most beautiful rugs. It might be that you can identify a rug that the auction house hasn't been able to identify, and then it's yours for only $8,400, right? I'm joking. I mean, sort of. So next call, uppercase M. Uppercase M as in Minnesota. Uppercase M, Minnesota. I love this one. So, uppercase M, Minnesota, Julie Astry, thank you for another gorgeous rug. Everything that you sent, I absolutely love, and we're all enjoying them tonight. Thank you so much, Julie. Is Dick Button a figure skater, Catherine? Is he still alive? Maybe we should switch games tonight because I screwed up so much. Maybe we should switch to Dead or Alive. I don't know who Dick Button is, but I absolutely love his name. Can somebody confirm whether Dick Button is a figure skater? That is awesome. Awesome twist. But Julie, I love capital M Minnesota rug. Julie says, I am a fairly new hooker. She's only been hooking for 2 years. This is her own design. Now, I want to show this rug one more time because Julie sent this.
Yeah.
Okay, so the answer is yes. Jay's looking it up. He is a figure skater. 10-time Olympic champion. Two-time. Two-time Olympic champion.
1948-52.
Catherine, you're good. Next stop, Jeopardy. Forget about Wheel of Fortune. Next stop, Jeopardy for you. You, Alex Trebek or not, you go on there. You're going to kill it. You're going to bring it home. That's so interesting. I didn't know that. You all know that.
You wrote a book called Push Dick's Button.
Okay.
The conversation.
I don't know if I can say. Okay.
No.
Okay, I don't think I can say that on this thread. He wrote an interesting book with a very funny title. So if you're interested, look it up and you'll have a little bit of a laugh. I don't want to get in trouble. So Julie, this is your Minnesota rug. And what's so interesting about this rug is that this is the rug that you made to go to that project, the States project at that small church in Barishwa, Nova Scotia, right? I sent 3 rugs to Connecticut, Vermont, and Massachusetts. And Julie, you sent this rug, Minnesota. So Julie, what do you think? As soon as the misery of this, I don't want to say the word because I don't want the video to get pulled, mask stuff is over, maybe we should go to Canada together and take a road trip, and we can look at your Minnesota rug, and we can look at my rugs and everybody else. Rita, I think you have rugs up there. I want to see everybody's rug that they sent to this beautiful small church for this project in Barishwa, Canada. You can look it up online too. It's on Facebook, but you can also, if you look at Barishwa, Barachhois, there's a bunch of pillows sitting in the pews of this tiny little church, and they're rugs that a bunch of us have done and sent up there. So it was a neat project. Julie, I didn't know that you did that. I'm so glad that you did. There were so many states that were missing still. I was so hoping they would get all 50 states. Okay, let's see. I'm going to go right up here to this. Right up that rod to lowercase I for igloo. Lowercase I for igloo. Oh, Crystal, I'm coming. I'm coming. I really am. As soon as Justin Trudeau will let me back in, I'm coming because there's so many people to see up there. There's so many things to do. The Rug Cooking Museum, the Barishwa Church. Lots and lots going on. The site of the old Garrett building and all that history. I'm dying to go. Oh, Sharon says you're doing a North Dakota rug for the... Oh, I'm so glad, Sharon. I'm so glad. I love North Dakota, and I've been there many times because of my touring days. I'm so glad that you're doing that. I can't wait to see what your design is because it's a beautiful state. It's a beautiful state. Super low population, right? It's right up there with Vermont for a really low, and Alaska with a really low population. But this is lowercase I, igloo. And this is a round rug, hooked igloo rug, circa 1935. I'll check in with you in 1 second, Teresa. We'll see what's going on with that. Circa 1935, and I got this from the Textile Museum of Canada in Toronto. And there's not a lot of information on this rug. If you're thinking this looks like a Grenfell rug, it does look like a Grenfell rug. And it could be a Grenfell rug. But all the Textile Museum is giving us for sure is that the location of the rug and the sort of root of the rug is somewhere in Newfoundland in Labrador, Canada. So, of course, that fits with the Grenfell name too, but it is apparently not marked. So the best we can do is call this a Newfoundland and Labrador rug, circa 1935, Canada. Beautiful circular igloo rug. All right, so what's going on with I? I know this was one of our trouble letters. So Teresa says, I have an uppercase I on igloo card number 7.
Ask if there's a dot after it.
Yeah, there's a dot after it. There should be a dot after it for the lowercase. Cards number 10 and 11, Anne says, oh, I am so sorry. I am so sorry. Cards number 10 and 11 have igloo uppercase.
Go with the letter.
Yeah, I'm going to say stick with go with the letter. The pictures for me I did at the end. Stick with the letter. So if it's an uppercase, wait for the uppercase I call. But this is the call for lowercase I dot. Should have a picture of an igloo, but there's a good chance I screwed it up. But the call is for lowercase I with a dot. Super confusing. I'm going to proof everything 100 times next time, and I'm going to send it out to everybody who plays. So next call is capital, I don't think we have any problems with this one, capital P. And I think I must have wrote pumpkins. Okay, so my mom says, let me see that one again for I. We're gonna maintain, we're gonna do the same because I don't want to break the rule in the middle of it. Lowercase I is igloo. If you have a lowercase I, you can cross it off. If you don't have a lowercase I, don't cross it off because there's a different call for uppercase is different. Only cross off if you have lowercase I. With a dot. Yeah, only cross it off if you have lowercase I. Forget about the picture. I might have screwed that up. I probably screwed it up, but that call was definitely lowercase I. This is uppercase P, pumpkins. Uppercase P, pumpkins. At the end, because I'm not looking at the cards, Jay's over here looking at stuff. I know all of you are looking at stuff. We'll make a call at the end and we'll collectively figure out which cards are the winner/winners. But I'm sorry the calls are so confusing. So that was P. Where's P? Pumpkins. Julie, it's another Julie rug. Julie, you didn't send me that many rugs. I mean, you sent me lots of rugs, and they're beautiful, but I feel like we're calling all of them, which makes me so happy. I was hoping we would call all the Buddies rugs first, and then call the ones that I found on Pinterest, which is exactly what happens. Martha says, your Indian has an uppercase. Yeah, it's the Indian character should have an uppercase. The igloo is lowercase with a dot. It can be different. Again, I'm so sorry. One of the problems with doing these bingo cards with uppercase, lowercase is if you know Word, you know that this kind of foolishness happens where if you type in an I and then you hit return or move on, it automatically corrects it to an uppercase. So this is exactly what happened for me with uppercase, lowercase, was I was trying to type in lowercase letters, and I was so tired and frazzled for the 3 days when I was working on this late in the evenings. There's probably lots of instances that we're finding now where I moved away and it changed it autocorrect to an uppercase. So let's just go with the consistent, the call that I make is the call, and we'll figure out the picture stuff later. So that call was Julie, pumpkins, uppercase. Julie, I love this image. Remind me, but I think this is the one that you did when you were watching that video about folding the paper in half and doing it perfectly symmetrical side to side. I think that this is that pumpkins, and it came out so pretty because you have the sun anchoring the top. I love how you did the sort of, the thing that isn't symmetrical in it are the stems that are coming off of it and the leaves, and then you have it flanked with the two sort of bookend birds on the edge. It is such a pretty piece. Oh, let me show it again. I didn't notice that you had the brick bottom to it. Julie, this is such a good piece. Look at the brick pattern on the bottom. Oh, good. I'm glad I remember that. Oh, you know what? I should have done that. I should have just done a different font. All right. I'm going to let Jay answer while I keep making calls. Hopefully it's not so confusing that we can't have fun. I'm so sorry. I love the idea of doing the alphabet. I'm finding it is a struggle because a lot of the uppercase went to lowercase, a lot of the lowercase went to uppercase. It is what it is. Let's see what happens. So next call, uppercase N. as in Nantucket Noel. Uppercase N, Nantucket Noel. So this had two N's. This was an easy one to choose. Now this is a Claire Murray, as you can imagine, Nantucket Noel. You know, I've talked a lot about Claire Murray because she's like one of my idols. You know, she is like somebody in rug hooking who has really done well. And for somebody who has a business in rug hooking and just building it in 1 year, I look at the choices that Claire Murray make and I think she made a lot of good business choices. She did really well for herself. And I was chatting with somebody this week, Catherine, and we were saying, different Catherine with a K. She was saying how some of the people she knows always refer to Claire Murray as a sort of a sellout. And I have to say, isn't it true in life that whenever you get somebody, particularly a woman, who's super successful, other people will say that that person is a sellout. It's just the way that life is. It's just the way that people are. She made phenomenal designs because she was a phenomenal artist. She made great business decisions, and she had a lot of financial success. So if that's being a sellout, I would love to be a sellout. I think it's phenomenal. I love her designs. And this is one of my favorite Claire Murray quotes. She wrote, "I have never regretted my move from New York City to Nantucket. I traded skyscrapers for rose-covered cottages, the Empire State Building for a Sankaty Light, and an island surrounded by bridges for an island accessible only by boat or small plane. It began a journey of over 30 years of bringing beautiful designs to living in homes all over the country." So 30 years she's been at it. You got to give her something for that, right? Julie, I will let you know if you won. I wonder if I'm going to call any more of your rugs or if we already called them all. I love everything we've seen of yours so far. Let's see what comes up next. I'll let you know if you won. All right, so let's do, I think it's this one. Next call, lowercase D for dogs. Lowercase D, dogs. I thought this one was so cute. Bernie's Mountain Dogs. These are, I think this might be one of my favorite. There are measures of success, Elizabeth, you're right. Liz, just reading your name. I love the dogs. I found this online. This was hooked and designed by Barbie Beck Wilchick, and it's called 4-Dog Run. This I found on a great website. You should know it. You probably do know it. The Green Mountain Rug Hooking Guild website. So not the Green Mountain Store, but the Rug Hooking Guild, Green Mountain Rug Hooking Guild site. I found this on there. It's a beautiful website. Lots of different rugs, but I loved the 4 Bernie's Mountain Dogs. It reminds me of the days when I used to go touring. There was a shop in Woodstock, Vermont, not the Woodstock Music, New York, but Woodstock, Vermont. And she had 2 Bernese Mountain Dogs, and I think she got a 3rd during the years that I toured. But she always had them out in the shop. It was this like secondhand and new bookstore, and people would come in and take pictures of the dogs, and they were so gigantic and gentle. They were such nice, beautiful big dogs. They love to work those kinds of dogs. You know, you want to attach a sled to it and put a bunch of kids in there. But they were beautiful dogs. Let's go for this one, looks central. So this is uppercase Q for Queen Mary. Yeah, aren't they beautiful, Liz? I'd love to have a Bernese Mountain Dog. I've got a Yorkie, but I'd love to add a Bernese Mountain Dog into the mix. That would be a strange couple of odd fellows, right? Capital Q, Queen Mary. You might recognize this from the whole week that we looked at Pearl McGowan's book called The Lure and Lore of Hooked Rugs. And this was the cover photo, was her hooked rug called Queen Mary, her design. So this is just a beautiful classic Pearl McGowan rug. We've done so much on Pearl McGowan. We've done so much on this book. We've got a lot more to do in our lives and on Coffee Time on Pearl McGowan. But this is capital Q for Queen Mary, Pearl McGowan. One of her cruel, C-R-E-W-E-L, sort of Jacobean styled full-size rugs. She had a few of those. All right. Next call, lowercase g, geometric. Lowercase g, geometric. This is a short and sweet one. So again, it almost looks like a log cabin, doesn't it? It's not, but beautiful geometric designed by B-E-A, Brock, B-R-O-C-K. If you look up B. Brock, you will see lots of beautiful patterns. There's another one on bingo tonight, if we call it. This is called Scrappy Squares, and this was done by April. April, great, great piece. I cropped this one again to get the right size. I wanted to get a close-up of those geometrics with the different colors behind them. Strong, strong quilt family sort of connection there, but absolutely beautiful as a hooked rug. You cannot go wrong with geometric rugs. April, this one is stunning. But if you remember from some of the coffee times, I was saying that geometrics were used like exclusively in the 19th century as kitchen rugs, bathroom rugs, bedroom rugs, for warmth, but you would not put a geometric rug into a public space like a parlor where you would entertain because they weren't considered fine enough. There's such a huge passion now for geometric rugs. The tide has turned. Gave it a good one that time. I love geometric rugs. In April, I love that rug. Thank you so much for sending that. It's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. I'm going to go for the one that's closest. So I'm going to take this one. This is lowercase y. Lowercase y. You love the geometrics, Pat. I do too. I really love them. So lowercase y, you know who. I think we did this last week or the week before for cocktail hour in the evening. Patty Yoder, one of our favorites, right? I did a whole episode. It was the alphabet episode. It's what led into this bingo episode. Patty Yoder, if you saw that episode or if you watch back on it, she was such a beloved teacher and artist. She did the huge alphabet of sheep, different sheep, theme drugs. They went into the Shelburne Museum and they're there permanently on collection now. But some of them are people, they were crossover, but she had a sheep in every one. And this is certainly one of the most famous. We saw this in Celebration. We've seen it in rug hooking. We've seen it all over the place. But Patty Yoder, if you haven't seen that episode of Coffee Time from, I think it was it was 2 weeks ago. It was two weeks ago on Friday. Patty Yoder, the alphabet episode, absolutely beautiful. You have got to check her out if you don't know her. You love those. I know, Linda, that's like one of the classic rugs of all time. Certainly one of the top 10 rugs that we think of when we think about rug hooking. It's such a famous one. So I'm going to grab this one. This is lowercase n for nursery. Lowercase n for nursery. This is a pretty one. Do you remember this one from one of our earlier coffee times? I did an episode that began with this rug because I found this rug in Country Living magazine. It was on one of their websites. And looking at this nursery rug with Mary Had a Little Lamb reminded me of Hansel and Gretel and fairy tale rugs and other Three Bears. And then the Three Bears rug is the thing that put me into the Garrett zone. And then we spent a week on Garrett and Blue Nose patterns and the history of the Garrett Company in Canada. But that nursery rug that I just called, that was the thing that segued us from nursery motifs to the Garretts. So that was a nice rabbit hole adventure. But that call was, which case was that? Upper or lower?
Lower.
Yeah. That was lowercase n, nursery. That's a Mary Had a Little Lamb rug. This is lowercase w, window pane. Now the reason I made this window pane, I was struggling with W's a little bit. I made it, Julie just left. This is one of Julie's. She'll watch back and see it. This is one of the others Julie sent. Let me focus it for you. Julie Astry made this one too. I chose window pane because it reminded me of a window pane. But you can see that she's done something along the lines of a Baltimore quilt kind of motif with different pictures and different quadrants. And it's just a beautiful, beautiful rug. The bee with the sunflowers, the tulips with a different insect, maybe another bee. It looks like she's got bees buzzing around, the bunny with the house in the background. It's just a gorgeous, gorgeous composition. Isn't it a great idea to be able to break your composition into shapes, whether it's 6s or 9s or 16s, and to put a different sort of motif or little scene into each one? Andy Warhol did it, right? Why shouldn't you do it? It's a successful design motif. Julie, that's a beautiful rug. I absolutely love it. I wish you stayed down for one more minute to see that rug come up. All right, so we're coming up here to this one. This is lowercase h, lowercase h. And this is H for Hutchinson, as you can well imagine, right? Now, we have talked about the Hutchinsons a lot. James and Mercedes, and we will talk more about them as time goes on. This one says, man works from sun to sun, but woman's work is never done. And ain't that true? There's the woman inside with the struggling children, the dog pouring at her, the baby under her armpit, just everything falling, the laundry, the cooking, the whole thing. So classic Hutchinson rug. The Hutchinsons love to do comedy rugs, mostly about family and family life. So that fell squarely into that area of their most popular rugs. Now, this is one of my favorites. I did this one. This is Jocelyn's lowercase j for jam sandwich. There's a little old jam sandwich. This has gotten to be, so many people have bought jam sandwiches like a t-shirt, as a pattern, as everything. But this is my daughter Jocelyn. She did this when she was 6. She's 7 now. This is her jam sandwich. I hooked with yarn with this, all sock yarn. Jam sandwich. That's on the Ribbon Candy Hooking website. Okay, coming straight up here. Next call, uppercase U for ugly sweater. Uppercase U for ugly sweater. Weirdly, this is another one of my patterns that was on Ribbon Candy Hooking over the holidays. There was a choice between getting 3 little ornaments in the shape of an ugly sweater or a larger one. I think because this is on a hanger, that this was the larger one. Beautiful. Teresa Nevin is on right now. Thank you for sending this, Teresa. I absolutely love it. You did a beautiful job with this. I put in the kit a bunch of different swirly type materials so that you could choose your own. And why is it not focusing? Everything is challenging me.
It was good.
Was it good?
Yeah.
Beautiful ugly sweater. Teresa, this is all your work. I just drew the thing and put all the yarns in, and you figured out how to make it as beautiful as it is. It's absolutely beautiful. I love the idea of the ugly sweater thing. I did one myself, and I'll do more next year. It's sweet, isn't it, Pat? Beautiful, Teresa. All right, this is an obvious one. So this is uppercase L for loon. Uppercase L for loon. And this is Kira. I forgot this was you. Kira sent the loon. This is your piece. Loon by Kira. Absolutely beautiful. Get it better in focus. There we go. Look at that. Look at that gorgeous hooking. And I know that this is a, I love you, Kira. I know that this is a Paris House Woolworks pattern. Absolutely beautiful. You know, the McAdoo Patterns does a loon. I have to say I like this one even better. It has this like little sort of dragonfly above it and this swirl in the sky. Lots of opportunities for shading the water, for shading the sky. And I like this second sort of character element right here in this little dragonfly. Kira, this is so pretty. You did such a great job with that. I absolutely love it. So, loon. All right, let's see. What have we got here? This is right here. That one's falling. Now, this is lowercase e. Okay, lowercase e for evergreen or evergreens. Lowercase e. Now, this is another beautiful Cushing pattern, and this is interesting. So this is a store. No, this is not a Cushing pattern. I'm sorry, I take that back. I thought it was a different one that is in the bingo game. Oh, was that your first one, Kira? Loon was your first one. You did beautiful patterning on his back. I mean, that is just gorgeous. You went on to do great things after that, but that is just as good as anything that you've done. There's no reason why your first rug shouldn't be fantastic. So many are, and this one was. That loon is gorgeous. So lowercase e, evergreen. This picture I took from Spooner Auctions. It's attributed to George Tremblay. Now, this is another Coffee Time episode we have coming up. So I'm not going to, this is another Canada-inspired episode. I'm going to tell you a little bit, I need the second page of this, about George Eduard Tremblay, because this is another person you're going to want to know. You're going to want to have this name on the tip of your tongue because a lot of his patterns are available. And prolific, beautiful artist. So born 1902, died 1987. So it's E to F, the next one. He was a painter, a rug hooker, a fabric artist. He did lots of everything, very active his whole life, 1930s to 1980s. Now, he was a self-taught primitive artist. He was originally a painter from Bay Saint Paul, and in the mid-1930s, he began hooking rugs of his own designs. So he painted something, and then he did a corresponding hooked rug to go with it. He was encouraged to move to Pointe-au-Pic by Alcide Bergeron, who was buying almost all of his ornamental mats, meaning hooked rugs, to sell in his gallery. So early sort of flipper reseller. And this gallery was called the Little Shop. This is a place that you wish you were in the middle of the 20th century. So he perfected, Georges Eduard perfected his technique of hooking rugs based on his paintings, and he soon opened a studio/school for rug hookers, teaching them and supplying them with patterns, always his own designs, and they were hooked on burlap with hand-dyed wool. We've heard the story many times, so much more to say about it. If you Google him, you will find that there are tons of images of women hooking rugs based on his paintings that he sort of designed and set in front of them. He would teach them how to hook, how to do it, and then they would sell these. He was selling both paintings and hooked rugs of the same images. He's a really important player again, and his work is beautiful. When I said before that Maude Lewis was like the Canadian Grandma Moses, I would say that George Tremblay is the Canadian Currier and Ives, like a one-man Currier and Ives. So beautiful. So look him up or wait for one of the upcoming coffee times, because I will certainly be talking about him and his rugs. All right. Next call, capital J. Capital J for jack-o'-lantern. Jack-o'-lantern. Now, this is a funny one. I wanted to do something different. I didn't want to have all the calls be similar. This is a latch hooking kit. I know some of us are super highbrow, not us. I don't think we are highbrow. I think this group is pretty supportive and great and loves everything creative. But there are those out there who are super highbrow, and latch just does not appeal to them. Latch is very similar. It's rug making. It's still rug making, but you're doing it with a hook with a toggle. And you're pulling the two ends up, so there's nothing but like the crease in the back on the backing. You're pulling the two ends up, so you've got two edges up. You're creating a very high-piled tufted rug with a latch hook rug. Very popular in the 70s. This was a latch hook kit made by MCG Textiles. And it is currently, if you love latch hooks and you love Halloween, this is currently on eBay. As of this second, it is new and sealed. So everything is there. I would guess that the hook is there too. $30 plus $12 shipping. It's called Halloween Cat, and it is currently on eBay. So there's only one. You're not going to find another Halloween Cat anytime soon. Currently on eBay. Please press the like button. Even though I made 100 mistakes, give me extra love tonight, because you know I hate myself when I do stupid things. But I am a ding-dong, dum-dum, booberella, so it does happen. Latch hooks. You know, I've got a couple of latch hook kits out, and I'm going to do more. Lily, who left us earlier, the nurse, she loves latch hooks. She buys everything latch, and she's always riding me to do latch. Liz says my husband did latch in the 70s. Why not? You know, it creates a nice high pile. It's very durable. It's very easy to repair if there's issues. Very fun. Very fun. So next call is lowercase o for Otters. Lowercase o for Otters. Look at this composition. I mean, isn't that, that's amazing. So this I pulled from the Rug Hooking magazine website. This is one of their celebration rugs, right? They do the Celebration Hall of Fame magazine editions. This is called Sea Otters. It's done in number 6 cut, so kind of right in the middle, on linen, designed and hooked by Patricia Maricalio in New Canaan, Connecticut, 2002. It was featured in Celebration 11. This is absolutely, let me hold it still for a minute. I'm shaking because I made so many mistakes. I made myself a nervous wreck. But look at these otters. This, again, you know, there is a McAdoo rug of otters that you probably also know with lily pads. Very similar. I have to say I like this one even more. This is absolutely beautiful. Look at the amount of shading in this. What's not to love about otters? Ain't that the truth? They are so cute. My daughter Jocelyn plays this video game on Roblox called Adopt Me, and she loves it. They hatch eggs, and she keeps getting otters. But every time she gets an otter, even though it's a common pet, so not that desirable, she thinks they are so cute that she's not disappointed when she keeps hatching otter eggs. Turns out that if you hatch 4 otter eggs, you get a neon otter. And I mean, obviously, that is like the height of grandeur, a neon otter. But who doesn't love an otter? Crazy talk. Plenty of crazy talk. Okay. Next call, lowercase r. Lowercase r. Railroad. I think this is lowercase r, railroad. I pulled this from a great website. If you don't know it, go check it out after the show. Going Gray. Going Gray, right? Can identify with that. I dye my hair like every 3 weeks. Online store, really beautiful. Hooked by Joan Watterson. And the pattern is by Going Gray. This is a great nursery rug. I mean, it's super, super. It's got the name Finn on it, but you could, of course, put anything on there. So that is lowercase r for railroad. All right, what have we got here? The next call is Uppercase D. Now, I cropped this one, and I'm so sad that I had to crop it because this is D for Dutch compass. If you can see the Dutch compass here, I cropped it in half. This is a beautiful rug with a real fracture quality. Carol Pillow, it's another one of your rugs. One of Carol's rugs, absolutely gorgeous. If you can imagine this doubled, she says the first one here I hooked in 2019, Dutch compass in doves. My first time tearing wool instead of cutting it. The design by B. Brock. Remember a few minutes ago I said we have another rug coming up by B. Brock? This is it. This is Carol's rug called Dutch Compass in Doves. Just picture this as a much longer rug, doubled with the compass being in the middle, right? The compass is this round part. That being in the middle, doubled. Absolutely beautiful. Pat, I will let you know if you won. Long episode, 2 alphabets. I will let you know if you won. Have a good night. All right, let's go for this. One of these I really hope comes up, so we'll see what happens. I'm not going to say which one. I just like the commentary. This is next call capital X for, I think I wrote big X's. How many squares have you got left? Are you all doing pretty well here? We don't have that many calls left. I'm wondering how close you are to victory. Capital X. This one is called X's. I pulled this one, so we've called both X's at this point. I pulled this one off of an auctioneer site called Schwanky Auctioneers. It's a red lattice design surrounded by red flowers and green leaves on a tan background. It's actually mounted for hanging. It's linen and it's on a stretcher. There's some stains at the top, on the bottom, on the left, whatever. But it does have good provenance coming from a collection in Connecticut. That is a nice old rug. And now we've called both X's, capital and lowercase X. You can imagine how hard X was to find rugs for. I'm going to take this one. It's certainly the closest. Now, next call, capital H, Hearth. Now, help me out. One of my buddies, who I love and talk to all the time, after the episode about hearth rugs, said, I have a hearth rug. It's a picture of a hearth. Oh, good. I'm down to 5 and 6. We're getting there. And I could not find that email. If you are on tonight, please let me know it's you. This is an older rug, I think. But I missed that conversation. I checked all 6 of my places where mail comes to me, and I could not find it. But this, I think, is beautiful. Capital H Hearth. This rug was on Etsy. I think it sold in the last 24 hours because I couldn't pull it up again. But, I mean, honestly, who doesn't need a hearth rug of a hearth, right? We did a great coffee time episode where we talked about the history of hearth rugs. We had so much input from other people who knew different things than me and more. And we got so much information in that episode. We snowballed and brainstormed together. It was fantastic. Okay, so let's come right up here. Next call, capital F, farmhouse. Capital F, farmhouse. Let me keep it here. Karen Jones, you are on right now, I think. This is another Cushing pattern called December Snows. If this is not the epitome of a Currier and Ives type scene, I definitely looked at this rug on one of the rug review shows with the path leading toward the farmhouse, the directional hooking. This is so well hooked, it's absolutely crazy. This is a beautiful rug by Karen Jones called December Snows. This is a Cushing pattern. If you want to do this for next, dare I say the C word, Christmas, give it a go. Karen, it's absolutely beautiful. Oh, there's only two left. Teresa's got 2 left on card number 6. All right, that's a clear winner. Super stressful. I can't believe I made so many mistakes. I just hate myself. I just hate myself. Next call, capital E, eagle. Capital E, eagle. Now, of course, I had to do an E for eagle, right? So I took this off of a website called Cohen's Auction Site. And the reason I took it off is because you have to do an eagle rug for E. Trying to get you back in focus here. Caprice, I know you're watching and not playing, so there's your eagle. Oh, 3 left, Teresa. You got this one too. I just love these rugs. You know, sometimes you see these designs and they're centennial designs from like 1976 that are celebrating the centennial of the country. So do we win if we get a regular bingo? No, you only win, Wendy, if you get blackout. So all of them on the card have to be there. All of them. Anita's got 4 left. Okay, so card number 6 is going real strong right now. Beautiful rug, right, Sharon? I am super patriotic. I am so glad that the turkey isn't our American symbol. But I love the eagle, and I love patriotic rugs. I love what it represents. I love what it stands for, whether it's for an occasion or not. I think being patriotic is a beautiful thing. So I always love a good eagle rug. Oh, Kira.
We'll go over all of them.
Yeah, we'll go over all the calls later when we get to the end. But Kira, this is definitely you. Capital C for cat. Oh, Caprice, are you? Caprice, your log cabin of your family home, like the vacation home, is absolutely beautiful. I hope you all saw that on Rug Hooking and Punch Needle site on Facebook. Caprice posted a beautiful picture that she's been working on for a while. The log cabin, beautiful corners, absolutely beautiful, based on a family home of a log cabin. It's absolutely beautiful. Now, Kira, this is your cat. Kira, help me out. I think you're still on. This was Haley's pattern from Loop by Loop, right, in Warren, Rhode Island. I think this is a Haley pattern of the cat who's kind of daydreaming, sleeping, dreaming of things to kill. I've had cats all my life. Right now I have Pitter Pat. Farmer Bramble died not that long ago. Lunchbox and Sandwich died a few years ago. I've always had cats who kill. And they love their mice, their fish, their birds, their rabbits, their everything. Squirrels, inside-out squirrels. But I just love this rug. I think it's so great. Kara, this is you. Okay, Kara says, yes, this is Haley's design from Loop by Loop. I love Haley. I did a store tour of hers over the summer. The only reason I know it was over the summer because I was sweating like something in church. You fill in the blank. And it was a beautiful store tour. She is the niece of Dion Fitzpatrick. And she's a beautiful artist in her own right. I toured her store. And around that time, Kara, I got to know you. And I saw this beautiful cat rug. So that's one of Loop by Loop's patterns. I love all cat rugs, too. All right. Got to give that another one. All right. I'm going to go for this one. So this call is lowercase p. Lowercase p as in Perennial Blessings. That sounds like a mouthful, but that is the, I'm sorry, I just cut a hole in this, Teresa. This is one of Teresa. Teresa's on, Teresa Nevins. This pattern is called Perennial Blessings. Lowercase p. So I went with the P for perennial. I love the title, Perennial Blessings. Absolutely beautiful. It was designed by Marlene Troyer, Troyer. Absolutely stunning primitive. Teresa, look what you did. I had to crop it as I cropped a lot. Sorry about my disgusting hands with the dyeing and the cuts and cuticles and all that crap, but beautiful sides with the, you did hooking on the sides and horizontal bars. Beautiful. And you did this great tree with a lot of motion. You can feel the wind. You can feel the sheep kind of standing in the shade and the wind blowing. And what a beautiful primitive design this is. That little black face, if you took just that shape of a little black face and you did something else with it, someone would say to you, that is a sheep's face. It's super recognizable, right? Super recognizable. Teresa Nevin, this is a beautiful piece. Absolutely beautiful. Really? All right.
That's there.
Which one? Should I go right across?
This one.
Oh, this one's right here. I didn't see it anymore. Oh my gosh. Something weird's going on with gravity. Yeah, it's one of these like
Drink
crooked
another
houses.
one.
Drink another one, exactly. So this call is lowercase t. Lowercase t. Look at how beautiful that is. Let me hold that here. Lowercase t. This is the Tree of Life. Tree of Life. So lowercase t, sorry, flipping through papers here. Tree of Life. This was done by Michelle. I think you're still on, Michelle, are you? Michelle Ross Miller. Michelle, I love this rug. You know, trees of life have nothing to do with family trees. You would think that they do, but they don't. Tree of Life represents the afterlife and the connection between heaven and earth. So nothing to do with the family tree, although beautiful thing to hook to is a family tree. The Tree of Life represents the afterlife. The bond and the affection to trees is so deep that the Celts believed that trees were actually their ancestors. Literally their ancestors were trees. I'm not mocking it. I think it's a beautiful idea and connection. They believed that trees were gatekeepers to the Celtic otherworld. Otherworld. Does anybody want to hook a rug called Otherworld, right? Not Wonderland, but Otherworld, one of those beautiful big scope words. But as such, the Tree of Life in Celtic culture is very sacred. We see a lot of this in folk art too because of the representation. Heaven and earth, past and future, now and later, lots of connotations. It is a beauty, isn't it? Works so well. You do not see enough trees of life in rug hooking. You honestly don't. You don't. That one is absolutely beautiful. Thank you so much for saying that. Okay, what do you think? Which one am I going to call here? Should I go for that? All right, let's go for that. Let's go for, this is going to solve some problems. Uppercase, lowercase. This is uppercase I, Indian. I'm going to say, again, I said it on Coffee Time the other day, I am a super ding-dong dum-dum. And I am like 48 years old, and when I grew up saying Indian was okay, and I know it's not, and I don't know why I did not write indigenous, because that would have been more correct for the times we're living in, but I wrote Indian because I was thinking of it like an antique spelling board. So I hope that I'm not offending anybody. I would say Native Americans myself in my life, but I'm going to go for I, Indian or indigenous. I love Native American art. We talk about it a lot. If you remember the Coffee Time episode we did on Helen Albee, how she was really the first person to look at Native American art as a design motif and make rugs. I bought that book. It had no illustrations in it. We were terribly disappointed. But the point was that the Native Americans did so much for design, world of design, not just North American design. So this capital I, Indian, Native American rug, vintage 1940s. So this is when you see a lot of Native American art in rug hooking and right across the board, because Native American art really came into its own as a fashion in the mid-20th century. So 1940s, you're giving me more wine after I made this many mistakes. I'm getting rewarded. No, reward me. Thank you, Christine. I am not a pig by any means. I should have written indigenous, and I had already done it. But anyway, this is a 1940s rug, and it's sold on Worth Point. I'm not a big fan of Worth Point, but check Worth Point for hooked rugs and also hook rugs and also handmade rugs. Because this one sold in July of 2013, so it was a little while ago, but it only sold for $116. That seems like a proper cry and shame to me.
Worth Point's just a research page.
Oh, Worth Point's just a research page? I thought it was an auction page.
No, they don't sell stuff.
Oh, okay, so it's just Jay's saying it's just a research page, so they're just telling you what other stuff is sold for.
Yeah.
So it was another site that actually sold it, and it popped up on Worth Point.
Exactly.
Or at least Worth Point's the one that's still alive and still supports this image.
Right.
But I thought this was an absolutely beautiful image. I mean, if you are interested in Native American culture, look at the 4 motifs in the 4 corners. We've talked about Native American motifs in Coffee Time episodes and how each motif, each animal, each symbol means something different. To put 4 in the corner, that's a language of 4 things that I can't read just being myself. But if you were to do a rug that had a Native American flair to it, you would have endless motifs to choose from to make it so beautiful and personalized. So that was I for Indian. We called both eyes. All right, that's this guy right here. This is capital B for Birdsong. This was Birdsong, right? Capital B for Birdsong. I need capital B for Birdsong. Oh, okay. Thank you.
Second one.
All right. Birdsong. Okay, so this is let me pull this into focus. Teresa, this is another one of your masterpieces. I cropped this one a little bit too. Let me get back in focus. Really? There we go. B for Birdsong. Teresa Nevin. Now, take a look at this rug. This is an Ali Strebel, Alistrebel Designs. Ali Strebel Designs. Teresa, look at let me see if my finger can touch it. Nope. Quilly. You see these circles here? These are quilly. Teresa, nice quilly. I don't think I've ever said that sentence before in my life. Teresa, nice quilly. I wish you lived right near me because I would love to do an episode on quilly. I don't do quilly. I would love to do this. Quilly is when you take strips and you curl them up like a little cinnamon bun, right? And then you stitch them to lock them into place, and you embed them into the surface of your rug, and then you hook around them. And by hooking around them, puts pressure on them, cushions them, locks them into place. And you've got this beautiful sort of rondelle of color that's in a circular form with all of these strips in place. Absolutely beautiful.
Liz thinks she has bingo on too.
Okay, so Teresa's saying, I don't think Native American is always a politically correct term. Always. The people at the MN, Department of Humane Services, Native Americans, Indian often. Okay, thank you. Thank you for backing that up. You know, me being a tour guide for so many years, I had to pretty much change the words that came out of my mouth from year to year. So at a certain point, and I hope you can identify with the sentiment and not think I'm a pig, but from year to year, being a good person was not always enough. I had to say the right words in the right order or be in really big trouble. So I have it in my head, I have to say exactly the right things that are acceptable now when I am not a person who discriminates against anybody, and I don't have that in the front of my head. So sometimes it's just not there. Thank you. Thank you for the I for Indian. Oh, okay. Okay, you're getting close, Christine. Huh?
No, Elizabeth said she thinks she has it.
Elizabeth, you think you have it?
Number 2.
Yeah, I'm not surprised you're confused on number 2. Christine said, I think we still need berries. Yeah, I haven't called berries. So number 2, we still need berries. I'm reading your comments too. We're close. So, oh, no, that's okay. Liz, you took me over to the greatest house in the world the other day. Forgive you anything. Almost. If we get berries, that's it. Big suspense moment. Here we go. Wheel of Fortune. Should I call berries?
What's the closest one?
It's berries.
Well, then call berries.
I'm going to call berries. The closest one is berries.
Yeah.
So,
Closest one.
yeah, certainly berries is the closest.
Yep.
Oh, we didn't do some of my favorite ones. But the call is lowercase b, berries. Liz, I'm guessing you got it. And whoever has card number 2's got it. Berries. Michelle Ross Miller, I hope you are still on. So even at the end of the game, at the climax, at the highlight, we can still admire this unbelievable rug in its entirety. I did B for berries. This is a crow, right? Right, Michelle? This is a crow. So Sheila's got bingo. Everybody with card 2 is going to get bingo, right? So Sheila's got bingo. Michelle, this is absolutely gorgeous. I didn't, I was going to use it for C for crow, and then I was thinking about cheating and using it for R for raven. But I ended up using it for B for berries. Absolutely love it. Bingo, bingo, bingo. Woohoo, Wendy. Has everybody who's got bingo feel that they have card number 2, or can you come to me with what card you think? Liz, I can. You know what I'm going to do at the end of this episode? If you are done with me and you are ready to move on with your life, you can leave me. But I do want to make a couple more of the calls that are up here, because the V is for violets, and I have a few more rugs up here that are absolutely beautiful that I would love to call. So we are going to do. It's a crow, Michelle. It's gorgeous. Let me show it one more time. It's gorgeous. And Michelle, isn't it funny that it's like, it's the one that won? Like, as soon as I read this one, everybody went crazy because we've got winners now. So we'll figure out how many winners we have. I don't have all the documents in front of me because I'm in my studio space. So
Like
I'm going to have to figure out. Brenda, I didn't know you were on. I mean, I know you're watching, but I didn't know you were on. Brenda says number 2. Does anybody have any card other than number 2?
No, that's it.
Because if it's just number 2, that's going to be a big win for the people. 5 people have number 2?
Seems like it.
Okay. It looks like we might be 5 at number 2, which is going to be a big split. That's a big amount of money there. I will confirm with you tomorrow when I post in Facebook Rug Cooking Buy and Sell, and I will send you an email tomorrow morning if you are a winner. I'm going to confirm card number 2. Make sure, Brenda, this was Brenda's idea doing this episode. Brenda gives me my best episodes, and she also gives me so much support when I'm super down with stuff like losing the computer in the snow. Brenda always writes to me and says, this is how you need to see it. I don't know what I would do without you. I really don't. You come, I'm gonna get choked up, but I really appreciate everything that you do. It looks like it's card number 2. This has been so fun.
Yeah.
Congrats to everybody. I'm gonna stick with card number 2 until I hear otherwise. And if you're done, you're done. But for those of you that are still with me and you have a little bit left in your glass, I'm going to finish the calls to look at the rest of the rugs. Carol, you know I love you. Crazy, you tune in for the crazy talk, right? Because you know that I'll deliver it. Thank you so much. Congratulations, everyone. So I'm going to do the rest of the calls here without spinning the Wheel of Fortune. Let me know in your comments what you think about the Wheel of Fortune. I won't do it every time because I like to have a different gimmick for you every time. Just like Gypsy Rose Lee said, you got to have a gimmick. Every time we do something different, we did the bingo one night. We do different ways of calling different nights. But what do you think about once every couple of months we use the Wheel of Fortune? I thought this was a fun way of doing it. And if you can think of a different way, please let me know because I would love to know. So let's look at this. We have got bingo on card number 2, but I want to call the rest of the calls. If you are still with me and you are still alive and breathing, capital Y was yacht. This was kind of a weird call. I had trouble with the Y's too. This is an antique rug. It's a nautical theme. The person was selling it on eBay. I think it's actually on eBay now. I think it's currently on eBay for $135 plus $8 shipping. It's not exactly a yacht unless you're a Viking, but it's a beautiful nautical rug with a beautiful background and a lot of movement. Look at those wave caps. Super, super, super fun. This is currently on eBay for $135 plus $8 for shipping. If you are from a nautical world and you think you would like this rug, tune in and get it now. Then we have got, this is a long one, so if you're not with me, I understand, but I have got to do this one. This was my favorite call of the whole night. T is for tulips. This is my favorite call of the whole night, and this is why. This is a long one, so stick with me. If you love tulips, Anita, this was your rug. Anita's been playing tonight. This is Anita's rug. Let me show it one more time. And let's say, Anita, are you kidding me? This is an absolutely beautiful tulip rug. This was T is for tulips. The designer is Sue Whitton, Whitton. Anita Brazier did this. Anita, this is crazy good. This is absolutely beautiful. This rug got me thinking about Tulipmania, which was a real thing, right? There's a book called Tulipmania by Mike Dash. There's another book called Tulip Fever. Tulip Fever is the one that I've read. I forget who it's by, but it was fantastic. It came out years ago. I found this information about tulips on Investopedia, like invest your money, opedia.com. Tulipmania. Do you know what Tulipmania is? I was born in the Netherlands. I was born in Scheveningen, so anything to do with tulips for me is like really special. Tulipmania was one of the most famous we're talking about economical market bubbles and crashes of all time. If you do not know this story, you have got to get either Tulip Fever or Tulipmania. Such an interesting history story. It occurred in Holland during the early to mid 1600s when speculation drove the value of tulip bulbs to extremes. At the height of the market, the rarest tulip bulbs traded for as much as 6 times the average person's yearly salary. Okay, crazy. Pause so that would sink in. Today, Tulipmania serves as a parable for the pitfalls that excessive greed and speculation can lead to. So here we go. Here's a small parable for you on a Friday night. This is so good. The history of the Dutch tulip bulb, right? This is the history of a market bubble. Tulips first arrived in Western Europe in the late 1500s, and being an import from native Turkey, commanded the same exoticism that spices and oriental rugs did. It looked like no other flower native to continental Europe, I'm paraphrasing. It is no surprise that tulips became a luxury item that were destined for the gardens of the wealthy and the rich. According to Smithsonian.com, the Dutch learned that tulips could grow from seeds or buds that grew from a mother bulb. A bulb that grew from seed would take 7 to 12 years to flower, but a bulb itself could flower the very next year. Cha-ching! Broken bulbs were a type of tulip with the striped multicolored pattern. So I know you can picture this, a tulip with stripes in it. Super desirable, rather than a single color, which evolved from what is called a mosaic virus strain. This variation was a catalyst causing a growing demand for rare, broken bulb tulips, which ultimately led to this crazy high market price. The best tulips cost upward of, get ready for this in today's money, a tulip, $750,000. But many bulbs still, lesser bulbs, not the broken mosaic ones, traded for between $50,000 and $150,000. By 1636, the demand for tulip trade was so large that regular markets for their sale were established in the stock exchange in Amsterdam, Rotterdam, and Haarlem, the original Haarlem in the Netherlands. It was a time that professional traders that were called at that time stock jobbers, that's one for if you go on Jeopardy, stock jobbers, got into the action, and everybody appeared to be making money simply by possessing a tulip bulb. Indeed, it seemed at the time that the price could only go up, and the passion for tulips would last forever. Do you think it lasted forever? By the end of 1637, which is the following year, prices began to fall, and they never came back up. A large part of this rapid decline was driven by the fact that people had purchased, tell me if this sounds familiar, purchased tulip bulbs on credit. So it wasn't real money. This sounds like the Great Depression in the 1920s, right? 1929, everything is about credit. People buying stuff on credit. Doesn't work that way. People thought that once they made the money back for the bulbs that they would be able to repay their loans. Didn't happen. Once the prices started to decline, people were forced to liquidate their tulips and to sell them at any price while declaring bankruptcy. Hundreds who a few months previously had begun to doubt that there ever was such thing as poverty in the land, this is the Netherlands, suddenly found themselves the possessors of a tulip bulb and nothing else. Not a house, not any assets, just a tulip bulb. This is a parable for all time, right? Crazy. And I'll do this one really quick. This was owl. The call for O was owl. This is one of my designs, ribbon candy hooking. I cropped it. This was the, I think this was the September, no, this was the October kit. Moonlight Becomes You. There was a pumpkin in all 4 corners, and it's the owl, sort of a 1970s style owl with candy cane eyes. The rings are on the eyes. That was one of my designs. It's on ribbon candy hooking. And last call of the evening, Violets V. This is really, really, really good. Violet's V. I wish this came up first. Thank you, Anita. The only reason I knew that tulips were so fascinating was because I read Tulip Fever when it came out, and I couldn't believe that there was such a thing as spending 4 years' annual salary on a bulb. And it was not surprising to me that there would be an unhappy ending. It was one of those horrible chapters in history. This is V for Violets. I got this on a site. This is interesting. Listen to this. A site called Google.com carpet cleaning all Allentown, like Billy Joel's. We're living here in Allentown. Carpet cleaning Allentown, PA /vintage hooked rugs. So this is a site about rugs and cleaning rugs. This rug was designed and hooked by Deborah Groom, and she wrote me. So this is the person that was doing the blog on carpet cleaning Allentown, PA, right? Deborah Groom. It's a 3 foot by 2 1/4 foot. Most of the wool is hand dyed. The edging is corded, whipped, and taped. It's named Jubilation. Let me bring you back in focus. Jubilation. We're going to end on this one. Come on, Jubilation. There we go. Jubilation. Jubilation. Because of how it makes me feel. I was going for a vintage feel without the restraint of a symmetrical pattern. I was thinking of a rug in a guest room with a whitewashed summer home, that kind of a feeling. So that was V for Violets. You know what? If you Google blog sites that have to do with cleaning carpets, you might get something like Deborah Groom's Violets rug that just blows your mind in its beauty. I'm going to just show this one more time, because if this does not look like a Klimt, then I don't know what does. It's not. It's Deborah's design. But I mean, my word, Violets. That was the last call. I am so sorry for the monkey business tonight. Please give me some help next time. I am not good on my own. I hope it was a fantastic evening. I'm very happy that one card won tonight. I'm sorry that not everybody was a winner. Maybe you'll be a Powerball winner or a lottery winner tonight, but even better. But I am so glad that one card won this time, because by the morning I will have figured out just card number 2, how much money each of those people get. It will be a good lump sum. And for those of you that used your winnings from the last bingo night to buy cards on this bingo night, I want to say good job, gamblers. You are in it to win it. I love that. I love that. So, okay, great work, everybody. Congratulations, card number 2. I hope that you enjoyed everything tonight except my stupidity. And I will be back with you on Monday for coffee time, Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday. Coffee time at 11:30 Eastern Standard Time on the Ribbon Candy Hooking channel. On Wednesdays, we will have our Zoom call, new information for the Zoom call, so we can talk with each other, not me to you, but with each other. And on Fridays, we always have a cocktail hour at least. On bingo nights, it goes a lot longer while we play Blackout Bingo. Please press the like button and subscribe. It means a lot to me. It helps me get visibility with other people who are looking for rug hookers and fun things to do on these crazy shut-in evenings, right? While it still is thus. Have a great weekend, everybody. I'm so happy that you all played. Super congratulations to the card number 2 holders and everybody who sent in rugs. Thank you so much. Everything that we looked at tonight was glorious and beautiful and admirable. You should all be proud of yourselves for sending in and hooking such gorgeous rugs, and mostly for sharing them. It takes a lot of nerve to share rugs. All of the rugs we saw were museum pieces. I want to see all of your rugs next time. Have a great weekend, everybody, and I will see you